Asharam sir is working as a senior scientist in the discipline of agronomy and is currently posted at ICR Central Agroforestry Research Institute, Jhansi. Sir has completed his BSc Agriculture from Udaipur, MSc Agriculture in Agronomy from Hisar, and PhD Agronomy from the reputed IARI New Delhi. Sir has a research experience of 11 years, and his areas of specialization are conservation agriculture, tree crop interaction studies, and assessment of ecosystem services in agroforestry systems. Sir has also handled some important projects like assessment of ecosystem services in silvipastoral systems, projects on tree crop interaction studies in agroforestry systems, conservation agriculture, and many more. Uh, Recognizing his excellent achievements in the field of agroforestry, Sir has been conferred with 8 awards and recognitions by various prestigious organizations and societies, besides fellowships during his postgraduate studies. Sir is also working as an editor of some reputed journals. Sir has published so far 47 full-length papers in referred journals, besides conference papers, popular articles, and two books, manuals, mobile. Sir has also developed two mobile apps and some folders as well as extension aids. Sir has also guided seven MSc students during his short career. Today, Sir is with us and he will be delivering an important lecture on integrated farming systems and conservation agroforestry systems. Sir, most of the participants are from this agroforestry background, and I hope that all the participants as well as myself, we will be benefited with your insightful lecture, given your experience, your knowledge, and your expertise. So, sir, without coming between you and the participants, stage is all yours. Please start your lecture, sir.
Thank you, Daksab. Thank you, Madam Suel Saab. Very good morning to all of you. And as you told that all are from the agroforestry background, and since last 18, 19 days, all the experts, they are feeding them with the agroforestry. So I think all now became the agroforestry experts. So, uh, but I will try my best to deliver this talk on the integrated farming system and conservation agroforestry. We know that there will be some repetition of the slides because many experts, they already have talked about the agroforestry. And in this presentation, I will discuss about the current scenario, then climate change and its challenges for the agriculture, then climate resilient agriculture practices. Then I will come to integrated farming system, then economics of the IFS models, then agroforestry versus IFS, means comparison of these two systems, then conservation agroforestry. We know that there is ever increasing requirement for food and fodder because of human increase in human and livestock population in our country, and there is a mismatch between the production and consumption of the food grains and agriculture commodities. And we also know that now there is declining in total factor productivity, also decline in resource use efficiency and reduced farm household income. And we have also noticed the stagnation in the crop productivity. Means now increasing the every unit of the input, we are not getting the increased crop production. And there is shrinking of the agriculture resource base like the land, water, and labor also because of the developmental process. And degradation of the agricultural resources. Particularly, we are facing the multi-nutrient deficiency. Earlier in 1950s or 1960s, only few nutrients were deficient in our soil. But now we are facing that multi-nutrient deficiency, about 8 to 9 elements. They are deficient in most of our soil. Uh, and over exploitation of the groundwater. Hello, please mute your mic, please. And then slow rate of the transfer of the new improved technologies, then environmental quality concern in context of the climate change. Uh, when we talk about the climate change, earlier it was looking like the fancy term that climate change, but now it is a reality and now it is really happening. And when we see the last 150 years data, and we found that out of that 15 years were the warmest, and out of that 11 of them were within the last 20 years, means that frequency of these extreme events occurring more during the present time. And because of this climate change, we are facing the many things around us, like the rise and swing in the temperature, warming in the post monsoon and winters, then varying the variation in the rainfall, means sometimes we are getting the high intensity rainfall, sometimes there is longer droughts, then shift and shortening of the seasons, decline in the river flows, rise in the sea level, and ultimately our crop performance is also affecting because of the climate change. And when we see that, what is
Hello,
the
excuse me,
impact of,
sir. Hello, sir.
yes,
I cannot see your slides moving. Whether they are moving, any participant, please? Yeah, yeah. Now you are on this slide. Land precipitation is changing. Okay, sir.
oh, now
Now this climate change.
climate change, now,
Now land precipitation is changing.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Now slides are moving.
okay, okay. So what should I do? Should I keep this way or in slide presentation mode?
You continue, sir. You continue. We will
Okay,
see.
thank you. Thank you. Then when we see the land precipitation data of 100 years of the globe, and we came to know that precipitation increases in the European countries and North America and South America, but in African countries and Southeast Asian countries, due to this climate change, precipitation is decreasing, and even that human population density is more in African and Asian countries. So this is the alarming situation for us. When we see the impact of climate change on the water resources in map, India map, we can see what is the impact of the climate change on water resources in different parts of the country. And it has the impact on the hydrology and water resources availability and the irrigation. And we already discussed that there is likely shift in the timing and seasonality of the stream flows with the regional imbalances, then high intensity rainfall events that will lead to the floods or the soil erosion and sedimentation in the many parts. Then there will be the more frequency and the severity of the droughts. Then warming will increase the evaporative demands and the crop water requirement. So these all are the impact of the climate change. And it was predicted in the March that we will face the hot summer ahead. And now we are facing that in this month of May, all northern part of country facing the heat waves. And this is the news cutting from Jhansi and Rajasthan, the Jodhpur area, that temperature reached up to the 49 degree. And now we can see that people, they are looking towards the cooler and AC for this for their comfort, but they are not thinking for the plantation, tree plantation, because we know that tree can reduce the temperature of the planet. And even that one news cutting from the Jodhpur, I'm sharing this, which shows that in one road where the tree plantation is not there, so their road temperature was about the 46 degree. But when in another, that JNEU campus, it was 42 degrees Celsius because of the tree plantation. So, being agroforesters, we have to think about this, how we can increase the uh, tree cover in our country, because we have to save our earth. And when we talk about the potential impact of the climate change on the Indian agriculture, and it is predicted that productivity of the most of the cereals would be decreases due to the increase in the temperature, CO2, and decrease in the water availability. And it is also the projected that there will be the loss of 10 to 40% in the crop production by 21st century. And it is predicted that If the temperature will be increased by 1 degree Celsius, then yield of the major crops will be decreased by 3 to 7%. And there will be also with the shortening of the growing period in the rainfed area. So these all impact we have to face in the agriculture area. And even that because of this climate change, now frequency of drought also increased. And only when we talk the drought only affected the 55 million peoples throughout the globe. And because of this, there is the serious hazards to the livestock and the crop and the humanity. And it is predicted by the WHO by 2030 that about 40% of the world population will affected by the water scarcity. And even in dry region, when temperature rise, water evaporates more quickly. This increases the risk of the droughts and prolongs the period of the droughts. So ultimately, there will be the malnutrition because of decrease in availability of the food. This will cause the various infectious diseases and ultimately the psychosocial stress and mental health disorders in the human population. So these all are the impact overall on the human being. But when we talk about the what will be the challenges, what are the challenges that our farmer is facing? Because in our country, we know that 80% of the land holdings under the small and marginal category, and our Indian farmers, they are still paying the prices of the climate change. When we see their challenges, we know that their wells are dried up, their crops are damaging by the stray animals. They have lost the traditional seeds. Earlier, they were having the traditional seeds, but because of dominance of the private companies and promotion of the improved varieties, they have lost their traditional seeds. So every year, they have to purchase the seeds from the market. And when we see the soil status, they have their soil have lost its physical, chemical, and biological properties. Cost of inputs has increased many times, and even because of that high salt content in the water and overdose of the pesticide and the chemicals, their soil has become the saline, and because of that, their seeds are not germinating properly. And again, they are facing that frequent crop failure because of the extreme weather events. So these all leads to the indebted and they are committing the suicide. So we have to think for the farmers, because this is a question of their sustenance and survival. So we need to shift that normal agriculture production process to the climate resilient agriculture, and we need to change our focus from scientist perspective to the farmer's perspective, and we need to change from the monocropping system to the farming system approach, and we need to shift from the clean field monocropping system to the mixed farming or the intercropping system. If we really want to work for the farmers, we need to shift from the external input-based system to the internal input-based dominating system. So option is adoption of the climate smart agriculture. Uh, this is nothing but agriculture that sustainably increases the productivity. It has the resilience towards the climate change and reduce the GHG emission. So when we talk the climate resilient agriculture practices or the agriculture, uh, the few important CRA practices are the agroforestry, then conservation agriculture, integrated farming system, cropping pattern, and the use of cover crops, soil and water conservation measures, grazing land management. So these are the practices we need to follow in as a climate smart agriculture practices. Now I am coming to the integrated farming system. This is not new for us. Since onset time, our farmers, they are practicing it. But as a researchers, we have to change its component, and we have to work for this, that how economically and ecologically more sustainable to the farmers. So it is nothing but it is scientific integration of the different interdependent and interacting farm enterprises for efficient use of land, labor, and other resources of a farm family, which provides the year-round income to the farmers. We know that it is not a IFS is not a very uh, easy or simple system. It is very complex. So there are the many definitions of IFS, which according to Kobragade, it says that it is a biologically integrated system which integrates the natural resources in a regulation mechanism into farming activities to achieve maximum replacement of off-farm inputs, secure sustainable production of high-quality food and other products through the ecologically preferred technologies, sustain the farm income, eliminates or reduce sources of the present environment pollution generated by the agriculture, and sustain the multiple function of the agriculture. Means he included all these things in only one definition, like other definition also. But when we see all these definitions of the IFS, in this definition, the entire concept of the IFS is revolved around the farmman improving the farm level output as well as the income of the farmers. So, so in integrated farming system, we are integrating the various enterprises of the agriculture like the dairy unit, biogas, crop production, pisciculture, and vermicompost, and fodder also. So there is a need for effective linkages and complementarities of the various components to develop the holistic farm system. Otherwise, their benefits of their interaction that will not benefit to the farmers. Now I am coming to the goals of the integrated farming system. If as a researcher we want to work for the farming community, and if we are developing the integrated farming system, so there should be the definite goals. Otherwise, that simple or traditional farming system approach they are doing. So our IFS should provide a stable and constant income to the farmers. It should achieve the agroecological stability through reduction in buildup of pest and diseases through natural farming or other less use of the chemicals. It should provide the maximum return from the unit area to the farmers. It should maintain the soil status and fertility by crop diversification approach, and exploiting the byproduct of the one component of the farming system uh, should be as input to the other component of the farming system, and it should help in reducing the environment pollution, because most of the fertilizers, they are provided by the animal unit or the green manuring. So there will be the less consumption of the fertilizer, so ultimately there is reduction in the environmental pollution. Then increasing the cost effective yield per unit area, per unit time, and profitability and sustainability. It should provide the balanced nutritious food to the farming community. This is also the important, and it should give the income round the year to the farming community, and it should solve the energy, fodder, fuel, and timber crisis of the farmer family and rural employment generation, then improve the socio-economic status of the farm families, then reduce the expenditure and increase net profit. Means these all goals, if we are achieving to through the integrated farming system, really it will be the heaven for the farming community, and this will be the one of the most the climate resilient production system to the farmers in present time. So what should be an ideal IFS model? Uh, there is 5 fundamental requirements that must be met from the IFS, which is it should be economically viable, nutritionally, it should give the nutritional security to the farm family, environmental sustainability, energy self-sufficiency, and climatic adaptation. So already I have discussed in goals of the IFS. Now I'm coming to the what are the component of integrated farming system. We know that everyone knows that in uh, integrated farming system, n number of the components we can include it based upon the resource availability, agroclimatic conditions. So main components, they are the field crops, livestock, poultry, duck farming, pisciculture, horticulture, vegetable farming, aquaculture, beekeeping, sericulture, mushroom cultivation, agroforestry. I mean, whatever the suitable for the farmer, he can choose the component, and he can choose that what type of the component he will include in IFS, what will be the interaction, how this component will benefit him. Accordingly, he can select the component of the IFS. Now, types of integrated farming system, because there is no definite types of the IFS for every situation, because there will be the variation due to the agroclimatic condition, due to the soil or other factors. And in India, even more than 50 farming systems have been developed by the research institution for the farming community. And the main systems, they are the combination of the crop plus livestock, then crop, livestock, and fish, crop, livestock, and poultry, then crop, poultry, and fish, mushroom, crop, fish, poultry. So there will be the n number of combinations. So I'm not discussing here uh, this system. These are some pictures from our Kafri IFS site, as well as two pictures I have took from the other models. So we can see that integration of the poultry as well as goatry and the agri-horti system and fisheries in the IFS model. Now, factor deciding the type of IFS. Because whatever the model we have developed at our research institution, we can't copy that system to the farmer field. Hello. Yeah. The main factors of the hello Hamizi, why there is echo in sound?
Hello, Hamida madam. Please mute all the participants. Please continue, sir.
Thank you. When we talk about the factor deciding the type of the IFS, I already discussed that it depends upon the soil and climatic conditions of the selected area, then availability of the resources, land, labor, and capital with the farmers, then present level of the utilization of the resources. It also affecting the deciding the type of the IFS model, then economics of the proposed integrated farming system, then managerial skill of the farmers. These all factors which decide the type of the integrated farming system. Now coming to advantage of the integrated farming system, we all know that this is a climate resilient production system, and it helps in restoration of the soil and fertility and conservation of the environment. It enhances the self-reliance of the farmer, then participation in the developmental processes, increase in the food supply, recycling of the crop residue, use of the marginal and the wasteland, and increase the employment. These all are the benefits of the integrated farming system, and many more benefits are there, but I'm not discussing here. And when we talk about the challenges, because it also has the challenges like the non-affordability. Many farmers, they are in small and marginal farmers, and even that IFS model we recommend only for the small and marginal farmers only. But due to the financial restrictions, they can't afford the initial investment like the purchase of the cattle or some construction of the that poultry shed or the goat shed or like that. And then lack of the acceptance. In some areas, because of lack of the role models or the religious perceptions, uh, the farmers, they are hesitate to accept the fisheries, poultry, and piggery and duck rearing, because in Rajasthan or Uttar Pradesh, when we say any Brahmin to you rear the pig, so because of this religious perception, he will deny, no, no, sir, I will not do that. Like that, these type of religious perceptions are there. So because of this, they are not accepting the even that beneficial component also. And many component of that IFS, they are not covered under the MSP, like the mushroom and beekeeping, these things. So these are some challenges in the promoting the integrated farming system to the farmers. Uh, at our institute, we have initiated the agroforestry-based farming system model in the year 2016 for the small and marginal farmers of the Bundelkhand region. And this is our IFS model is agroforestry-based integrated farming system model. And total that area of this model is 1 hectare. And we have done the roadside plantation of the moringa, and in boundary at boundary we have planted the tea in one side, and second side melia, and in back side we have planted the bamboo, and in tree lines we have planted the NB hybrid grass. And our whole field we have divided into three parts. In one part we are taking the agri system. We are growing the guava crops as well as the papaya as a filler plant, and in interspaces we are growing the crops. And we are also taking the vegetables like vegetable bhindi, vegetable pea, bottle garden, pumpkin. And in crops we are taking the sweet corn, urad bean, wheat, chickpea. And in poultry, we are rearing kadaknath, and we are rearing fish also. And beetle and barberry breed goat we are rearing, and also we have the composting units. So from this system, uh, we are successfully growing the crops. And as per the last year data from the 15-16 plants of the moringa, we harvested about 250 kg of moringa pods. And from 40 guava plants, we have harvested 27 quintals of guava. And besides this, we have harvested good quantity of the wheat, chickpea, and the field pea also. And when I talk about the NB hybrid grass, about 70 to 80 quintals of the grass from the tree line we have harvested uh, for the animal. And we are also got some return from the duckery, poultry, and the goat rearing. So total our BC ratio was 1.85. So I can say, and many times even hundreds of the farmers, they are visiting our site, and we are showing them. Sometimes our crop is one crop is failure. Then we say that you see, if farmer is growing only one crop, then he will lost the 100%. Otherwise, only 20% loss is there, that will be met out through the other component. So these are the pictures of our integrated farming system model. You can see that that laborers, they are harvesting the NB hybrid grass and moringa plantation, and that intercropping of the that bhindi as well as the maize. And that quintals of guava is he has harvested from our system. So this is about the coffee model, and many more systems. They have economics of the IFS models have been reported throughout the India from different researchers. So as per the Jayantilal and his team, they have reported from the Coimbatore. And as per them, they are saying that net return from the cropping alone is only 36,000. But in case of the crop plus fish plus gold, uh, they got the 1,26,000, means 3 to 4%, 3 to 4 times higher economic returns in the IFS model as compared to the cropping alone. And when we talk about the man days generated, so about 680 man days were generated in the crop plus fish plus cattle, and only 416 man days were generated in the cereals. And Kumar, in 2012, he also reported that in rice wheat system, that net income was about 46,000. But in case of rice wheat plus vegetable plus dairy plus fish, it is almost 3 times higher, which is 1,50,000 economic return. As per the Rana in Uttarakhand, the net return of the cropping alone was the 37,000 only. And but in case of the crop plus fish plus goat, it is 1,31,000. And Sahu he reported in 2017 that in monocrop rice, that net return was only 32,000. But in case of the IFS, which includes the crop plus backyard poultry plus poultry plus vermicompost plus azola fish and duckling and piggery, so they could get the 1,13,000 net return from the IFS. So this is the beauty of the integrated farming system model, and really it helpful for the small and marginal category farmers, because they are getting that income from the various component, and they are also getting the benefits of the interaction between these components. So question come, is agroforestry and integrated farming system is same? Definitely, they are not same, because some times people say that when in agroforestry the tree component, crops and livestock is there, why we are not calling it is a integrated farming system? There is a difference between the IFS and the agroforestry. So I will discuss in coming slides. So I will not go into the agroforestry and what agroforestry is, because already many speakers they have told about this and benefits of agroforestry also. We know that it provides the nine SDG Sustainable Development Goals out of the 17, which is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, gender equality, then clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, and responsible consumption and production, then climate action. I have repeated it because you might have uh, uh, listened from the many speakers, but you should learn these all things. Then only you all will become the agroforestry experts. When we talk about the agroforestry scenario in our country, as per the latest estimate, it is about 28 million hectare, in which Rajasthan having the highest agroforestry area, followed by Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh, and it contributes almost half of the demand of the fuel wood, two-thirds of the small timber, 70 to 80% wood for the plywood, and 60% raw material we are meeting for the paper pulp from the agroforestry, and it contributes the 9 to 11% of the green fodder requirement for the livestock. And this is the beauty of agroforestry, that if currently we are getting the 2 ton per hectare per year biomass, we can increase up to the 10 ton per hectare per year biomass with the help of agroforestry with suitable tree crop combinations. When we see that what is the post 2020 action plan, so India has already committed 35% cut in the emission rate by 2030 through the creating the additional carbon sink by increasing the forest and tree cover. But we know that we have the limited forest area, which is about 79 million hectare, so we can't increase the area much more. But one option is we need to increase the tree density, uh, which is from 187 trees per hectare to the 255 trees. Other option is we have to increase the tree outside forest, which is only possible to cover the area in the problematic soils, degraded wastelands, community lands, fallow lands, and in the on the farmers' field. So we all agroforestry researchers, we have to work for that. We have to increase the green cover of our country. We know the advantage. There are the many advantages of the agroforestry system. I will not go. I will skip this slide. And the power of the tree, it has already been discussed in our Matsya Puran, that Dash Puka Samo Vapi, Das Vapi, Samohada, Dash Hada Samaputro, Dash Putro Samadruma, means one tree is equal to 10 sun. This is the beauty of the tree. And even in drought management, it plays a very important role because it intercepts the rainfall in the foliage, which prevents the water runoff, absorb and filtering the water that infiltrates into the soil. It holds the stream banks in place with their roots, provide the permanent vegetative cover to the soil, and thus control the erosion, protect the environment, upgrade the soil quality, enhance the organic matter. It gives the carbon sequestration, it reduces the surface evaporation. So these all are benefits of the tree component. And now I'm coming that is agroforestry and integrated farming system are the same. As per the publication from Arunachalam, Dr. Arunachalam and his team in the Indian Journal of Agroforestry, they compared the agroforestry and the integrated farming system. They give the three tables. One is the structural comparison and economic comparison, ecological comparison. When we see the structural comparison, that there are different parameters like the land holding size. So for agroforestry, all types of the land holding is suitable, but for IFS, we can do only in the small and marginal uh, land holding. Then inclusion of the woody perennials in agroforestry, forestry, it is intentionally included, but in IFS, not essential. And already I have told that number of components in agroforestry, not more than three components at a time. But in IFS, we can include n number of the component as possible. And when we see the complexity, agroforestry is more complex, but IFS is arranged. And gestation period, it depends upon the tree, if short duration or long duration. And but in case of IFS, it is shorter than the agroforestry. Then approach to the cultivation. In this, perennials are the admixed with the crops in agroforestry, but in IFS, different crops are admixed at will of the end users. Then crop duration, more than one rotation in agroforestry, but in IFS, each component is independent and yet connected as entry. So these all are the parameters that differentiate the agroforestry from the integrated farming system. When we see the on the basis of economics, we know that in agroforestry product volume is large, but in case of IFS it is low to large. Then product diversification, in both the system product diversification is very high. Then recommended landholders, so in agroforestry all sorts of the landholders, but in IFS only for small and marginal farmers. Then input relatively lower in the agroforestry, but in IFS it is higher. And inorganic fertilizer uses in agroforestry sometimes, but IFS it is not used, but it should be the sometimes. And in monetary input, both depend upon the market facility of both the system. So when we see that ecological comparison, then it showed that fragility in agroforestry it is low, but IFS it is high, and homeostasis, medium external control in case of agroforestry, but IFS by high external control. Then green cover increases the green cover, but in IFS it depends upon the inclusion of the tree component. And biodiversity, I will say that in both the cases it will be the high. And carbon sequestration in agroforestry it is high, and in IFS it depends upon the model. And in case of soil organic carbon in agroforestry high, and IFS depends on the nature of the component. So these all are the parameters which differentiate the agroforestry from the integrated farming system. Now I'm coming to the conservation agroforestry. This is somewhat I can say that new for us because in this we have tried to include the principles of the conservation agriculture with the agroforestry, and we have started this conservation agroforestry experiment at ICR Kafri in 2014, and we know that there are the several benefits of the conservation agriculture, and there are the several benefits of the agroforestry. Agroforestry benefits already I have discussed, but in case of conservation agriculture, there are three principles, which is minimum soil disturbances, permanent crop cover, and crop rotation and intercropping. So if there is minimal soil disturbances, it will protect the soil from the erosion. It will save the fuels and time in the labor cost. It will increase the soil organic carbon. Uh, it will give the better water infiltration. And permanent crop cover, it will recycling of the nutrients, carbon sequestration, suppress the weeds, protect from the soil erosion. Then in case of crop rotation and intercropping, it will give the efficient water use efficiency. then control pests, improve the soil fertility. These all benefits we are getting from the conservation agriculture, and agroforestry benefits already I have told. So if we combine this conservation agriculture and agroforestry, we will be getting much more benefit than the sole conservation agriculture or the agroforestry. So these are the benefits and complementarity and compatibility of the agroforestry and the conservation agriculture. These are the parameters like soil nutrients and solar energy, water, shade, wind protection, soil conservation. Means
Can
both
you
the
change the
system.
slide? Your slides are not moving.
Not moving
No, sir.
now.
No, sir.
Which slide it is showing now?
It is
No,
showing
sir.
agroforestry based farming system.
You are on slide number 49, sir. Right?
Yeah, 49.
Yeah, yeah, it's okay then.
Okay.
I think then there's some issue with my connection.
Benefits, complementarity, and compatibility of agroforestry and CA. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So I'm saying that benefits on these parameters we are getting from the agroforestry as well as the conservation agriculture. So we combine these two in the one system. So at our uh, institute, we started that experiment in 3 hectare area on the conservation agroforestry, and there were the three experiments. One is on the bale-based agroforestry system, second was on the teak-based agroforestry system, and third was on the bale plus teak-based agroforestry system. We have planted bale and teak with the row-to-row spacing of the 9 meter and plant-to-plant spacing of 4 meter, and there were the there were the four main plot treatments and three subplot treatments. So two tillage treatments like minimum tillage and conventional tillage, and two cropping system, black gram mustard and green gram barley. And in subplot treatments, there were with crop residue, without crop residue, and with listener residue. So I'm not going into the detail, but we found that uh, during the initial years, there will be no significant difference between the tillage treatments. Means conventional tillage as well as the minimum tillage both remained at par. But when we see that results from the crop residue addition, so with crop residue and with listener residue, we got the more yield as compared to the without crop residue, because residue it suppresses the weed as well as it conserves the moisture also, and it gives the nutrient to the soil also. So these are the data of the yields of the green gram, barley, mustard. This is the teak-based conservation agroforestry system at our experimental farm, and this is our bale-based conservation agroforestry system. You can see that how we are growing that uh, mung bean in between the rows of the bale, and this is the teak plus bale-based conservation agroforestry system. We have planted teak and bale in alternate manner, because bale is the having the wider canopy as well, but teak is growing straight. So to utilize the uh, uh, vertical space, we have choose this model. But in 2022, after 6 years, because we have recorded the data of two cropping system, that green gram barley and black gram mustard, so we have changed the cropping system. Now we are taking the sorghum chickpea and the maize linseed cropping system with two tillage treatment, two residue treatments. So total combination of the treatment is 8, and in this system, we are studying the system productivity as well as what is the carbon sequestration potential of tree species, what is the impact of this conservation agriculture practices on the microbial population, earthworm, water regulation, nutrient cycling, tree crop interaction. These all parameters we are studying at our farm. And after 8-9 years of the plantation, so average bale height is about the 5 meter. And because why agroforestry is important for the conservation agriculture, because tree component it also gives the residue to the field. So residue addition is most important in Bundelkhand and many parts of the country. In conservation agriculture, residue retention is one of the important principles. And farmers, they are not retaining the crop residue because they are feeding their crop residue to the livestock. So tree component is fulfilling that gap. So bale is providing about 5 quintals of the leaf litter per year to the field. But in case of the teak, it is provided 12 quintals of the leaf litter to the field. And when we see the nutrient addition to the leaf litter, so from teak-based system, about 20 kg of nitrogen, 5 kg of phosphorus, and 5 kg of potassium we are adding to the teak leaf litter. But in case of bale, it is I think 3 or 4 times lower than as compared to the teak, because liter addition is more in case of the teak-based system. When we see the carbon stocks in the bale and the teak-based system, we can see that it is in teak, it is much higher than the bale-based system. Now I'm coming to the what is the impact of that conservation treatments on the maize and sorghum grain yield. Uh, we have seen that there is no tillage effect. Only because of tillage there is 2 to 3% variation in the yield. But because of that residue addition, we got 10 to 12% higher yield because of the residue addition. Now in this picture, you can see that maize is we are cultivating in between the rows of the tea as well as the bale. I will not go into the this detailed data presentation. Now coming to that, what is the impact of the tillage and residue treatments on the chickpea and linseed yield? Again, that there is only 3 to 4% tillage effect on the yield, but in case of the residue effect, it is much higher than it varies from 8 to 12%. We have also took the data on the nutrient availability and the microbial properties. We found that the treatment having the residue addition with the minimum tillage, they have the highest parameters of soil available nutrients as well as the soil microbial properties as compared to the other treatments. And even we have also calculated that what is the uh, correlation between these parameters, and we know that residue addition and these highly correlated with the nutrient availability and microbial properties. Uh, when we talk about the new challenges in conservation agroforestry, what we are facing that more occurrence of the weed, especially perennial weeds like the cyanodon dactylon, and also we are facing that teak sclerotizer problem. So now we have the uh, drone, and we are using the drone in the agroforestry, and earlier it was not possible for us to spray the chemicals on the trees, but now with the help of drone, we are controlling it. And thank you so much to all. So any question regarding that conservation agroforestry or IFS or regarding my presentation?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your time and for delivering this comprehensive and insightful talk on integrated farming systems and conservation agroforestry practices. Sir, I must tell that this lecture was very pertinent and very timely, and thank you for introducing